Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yet another reaction and analysis video. No surprise, right? Epic the Musical, we're looking at the Circle Saga, and we are going to be finishing it up today with the Done For and There Are Other Ways songs, tracks. And without further ado, I'll go into who I am after the video is complete, or I would say at the end, so we can just jump right in. And yeah, without further ado, let's see what Jorge and his team have in store for us today. And yes, I do have the wiki page pulled up for Epic every time I listen to their music because I want to make sure I'm educated. Without further ado, volume is good. Let's see what they have in store for us for the last half of the Circle Saga. Ooh, nice bass drop to start. Nice clean electric guitar here.
Lady of the palace, sorry that I ask this, but I hope that I've been misinformed.
Nice flow.
I sent out some scouts to take a look around through here, and they wound up at your doors. Through the years we seldom get a warm welcome, so I must ask just to be sure. Did you do something to them?
Him.
Yeah, definitely got some more theater elements cutting through here.
Me. All I did was reveal their true form.
You turn them into
Oh man, that's just a really nice, more weighty than usual female voice, or at least more weighty than we've heard yet so far in the musical. Let's see where this goes.
pigs.
I don't know who you are nor why you're here, but let me make this one thing clear. I've got people to protect, nymphs I can't neglect, so I'm not taking chances, dear.
Do you hear that effect, that almost warbling effect in the background? It's with the choirs. That's really neat. I don't think I've heard that effect used in any of the songs to date, or any of the songs that we've covered to date in Epic the Musical. It's one of those effects where you got to be careful how much you do it, but in like a tense situation like this, I'd say it's appropriate.
People to protect, nymphs I can't neglect, so I'm not taking chances, dear. If you make one wrong move, then you're done for. Anything I don't approve, then you're done for.
The
I can put a
tension
spell
here.
on you when you're done for. Boy, you better run.
Up to a B4 in chest there. Man, I'm trying to remember who vocalizes the part here for this female voice. I'm trying to think of who she is. Okay. Anyway, I'll have to do more research on this one, but
No, soon you will be done for.
I don't mean to tip your scale, but you will fail at placing any spells on me. I just ate a flower, one that claims your power, so you better cower now and flee.
You must be a liar, mortals can
whoop 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 whoop. Do you notice that sound in the background there? I believe those are like the lower strings of like a cello and such. And what that effect is that's going on, whoop whoop. It's almost like they're doing this really fast crescendo this really fast crescendo within the note. And what I mean by a crescendo, for those that may not know, is that a crescendo is a term in music to describe an increase in volume. And there may be a more specific term for it on a single note, and it's much faster. But a crescendo, that is effectively a short, quick crescendo. What's happening on these notes, and what's happening is literally the volume is starting low and ending high on these notes. Whoop, whoop. So you can hear at the very beginning it's hushed, and then you get a little more volume and power at the end of it. But it's happening so fast, you're like, it has this like, wah, 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 wah. It's almost sounds like, say you had a speaker in your hand and you were moving it back and forth really fast. It's kind of the effect that it creates when you're listening to it. Really, really cool little thing that some people do in music and arranging.
So you better cower now and flee.
You must be a liar, mortals can't acquire money without dire consequence.
Then I must be a god like you, cause I got this root from the ground with my bare hands.
Hermes gave it to you, didn't he?
Okay, fine, yes. Well, regardless.
Hermes gave it to you, didn't he?
You and I are now evenly matched. Our fates are intertwined, they're attached. I've got people to protect, friends I can't neglect. So now there is no turning back. You've made your one wrong move, now you're done for. I will be the one to prove that you're done for. Not even a spell saves you, cause you're done for. Oh, you better run or soon you will be done for.
Ooh, crap.
Lost.
My nymphs are like my daughters, I protect them at all costs. The last time.
And then you get a release intention here where some of the more intense sounds that are happening, like what you were hearing, the wah 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 wah, almost like that warbling sound, that's kind of cut out here. And you have less percussion. You don't really have that hip hop style boom 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 kick drum in the background. Now it's a little more hush. You just got like occasional strings to help keep the time.
We let strangers live, we face to head.
And you'll notice too that these, not only these strings, they're very short, but they're very, they feel very weighty. They got some meat to them, so to speak. And the reason for that is because when you have a lack of percussion, you, to a certain extent, need something to keep the time in the music. Otherwise, it'll just kind of derail and get chaotic, where you don't have a single cadence of where your timelines, they're like your timeline's up. So at that point, if you don't have a specific time, things start to sound funny for the listener. And really, there's no logical reason, unless there's just like a rapid slowdown, to not keep time, if that makes any sense. Because not keeping time means it'll be hectic, and it's gonna sound mushy, and it's gonna be inconsistent.
Heavy loss you've given me.
And obviously the primary instrument that tends to keep time would be percussion, like drum sets or hitting like a bass drum or something of that nature. But in this situation, we don't have percussion. So the next best thing, if we're going to keep like a hushed little section here, would be to have like some short strings. So that way you can kind of still keep marching along while still having a little bit of musicality in there, rather than it just being a toneless beating of a drum.
No reason to bestow you with my trust, but everyone's true colors are revealed in acts of lust.
I'm not sure I follow.
Wait a minute. Oh, that line, things are gonna get spicy.
With my trust, but everyone's true colors are revealed in acts of lust.
Yeah, we just went there. But that is a really powerful line, though, if you really think about it, too. Everyone's true colors are revealed in acts of lust. Ooh, that's such a brutally honest line.
I'm not sure I follow.
You should try to follow.
There are other ways of persuasion.
All right, here we go into the second song of the Circle Saga to finish out this video. We got 3 minutes, 44 seconds on the clock. Let's keep rolling. I enjoyed the first one. Let's see where the second one goes.
There are other ways of persuasion. There are other modes of control. There are other means of deceit. There are other roads to the soul. There are other actions of power.
This little section here of strings almost seems a little bit sneaky, a little bit mischievous. Not overly so, but just enough to give it kind of this like almost like this almost like a cat stalking its prey in a circle, you know, or maybe even like a lion or something. You know, like you have one, like their prey sitting in the middle, and then you have like this carnivore-esque feline kind of thing just slowly marching around it in a circle. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this little string section here, because I guess you could say that's kind of happening in the music and in the animatics too, because obviously our boy here is potentially going to get seduced, so to speak, and that's kind of figuratively what's happening here, the analogy that I presented.
Roads to the soul. There are
See,
other
it just feels
options of
mildly mischievous.
action. You have so much left to learn. Want to save your men from the fire. Show me that you're willing to burn.
Who's to say with the mistakes I've made
Don't be
that they will be the last mistakes I ever made?
Beautiful overlay with the two lines going on here. Normally that would be pretty chaotic, but it's working out pretty well here in two ways. One, the notes that they're singing, they kind of intertwine pretty well with the intonalities and the pitches, but also the placement of the lyrics that they're singing here too, because sometimes if you don't place words in a good spot, it can sound really chaotic, jumbled up, and it will feel like there's more noise than you can reasonably have to enjoy the listening experience, or listen to the music and have an enjoyable listening experience. So it's beautifully intertwined here, these two singing parts.
Don't break them. There is so much power, but
Like
there's no
bongos, maybe?
puppets here. This is the price
I'm
we pay
just
love.
a
There
man.
is no
What? He goes, "I'm just a man." Okay, there's another one of the references that everyone mentions in my comments, but I think it's really funny and really well timed comedically for him to sing that there, and the animatics to be presenting this imagery at the exact same point that that's being sung. Maybe chuckle.
power, but
For obvious
there's no
reasons.
puppets here. This is the price
I'm
we pay
just
love.
a man.
There is no line,
I'm
never
just
enough. So
a
much power, but there's no puppet here.
There's the sinister side of the lady that we are seeing on screen here. Obviously, she's presenting a weapon, and you can kind of start to pick up on that in the music too, because you hear like this really twisted string sound picking up in the background ever so subtly. Listen for it right here.
I'm just
Right here is where it starts. It becomes pretty obvious right there, and then obviously he cuts away in the animatic here. But that was a really subtle thing that kind of suddenly changes the mood and the dynamic of what's happening in the music here.
I can't.
Oh, okay. That was a hefty change.
Back at home, my wife awaits for me. She's my
We
everything.
got a Chad here.
My Penelope, and she's all my power, but it's been 12 long
beautiful acoustic
years,
guitar.
12 long years since I have seen my wife, and now the god of tides is out to end my life. So I beg you, Circe, grant us mercy,
It was
and
Circe,
let
okay.
us puppets leave.
That's a beautifully held B flat, A sharp 4 in chest there. A little bit of falsetto in there. It's probably a bit of mix of head and chest voice, but it was so beautiful, and I love the vibrato in his note there. Just listen to how velvety smooth that B flat was right here.
Puppets leave.
beautiful.
Poseidon, eh? There might be a way to evade him. There might be a
Bongos
way
again,
to
yeah.
get home. Though this other way's very dangerous, it might be your one final hope. I know of a brilliant prophet.
Whoever's doing the vocals for Cersei here has just got this really rich lower intonalities inside her voice to really bring out the power in her voice. It's a little bit lower lying voice. You're probably looking at maybe like an alto, but it's such a nice, well-rounded voice. You listen to it and you're like, wow, my ears are pleased by this. And to me, it's because you hear the power in the lower end of her voice, but you also hear a nice, clean richness in the middle of that chest voice. And you got this nice little icing on the cake in the higher frequencies of her voice as well. It just meshes together really well, and you've got this extremely well-balanced voice. Like, so well-balanced. I want to hear this woman sing some more, because she's got a great voice.
This prophet is dead. I can't get you home, but I'll get you to the underworld.
There's that effect again.
Instead, I'll release your men and I'll get you to the underworld instead.
It sounds bad.
Wait,
And
you're
then
helping us?
another little section change here. 2 section changes at once.
Wait, you're helping us?
There are many ways of persuasion. There are many modes of control. Maybe
Loki's
showing one
offbeats.
act of kindness leads to kinder souls down the road. I remember actions of passion.
Almost like a house beat here.
Maybe one day the world will need a puppeteer no more. Or maybe one day the world will need a puppeteer.
So much power, but there's no puppet here. No puppeteer, no puppeteer.
5 there. Wow.
Show me that you're willing to.
Wow, okay. That was a really, really smooth ascent into the clouds for that F5 for whoever's vocalizing the female part here. And she maintained the power going into the 5th octave too. So, and not that many altos can do that. So, wondering if she's even really an alto, right? I'm not an expert with female voices and voice classifications, so take what I say with a grain of salt, please, and thank you. But, oh man. Now this gets me excited for the next saga. Because we have this like nice little section where things are nice and pretty. A little bit of tension here and there, but it was almost like a bit of a reprieve, so to speak, from some of the more hectic parts of the epic, the musical so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have hit this part of the video, you're a champ. I appreciate you. My name is Ethan Drew. I break down music. I focus on interviewing singers here on the channel. That's my primary goal. But my primary goal, mostly through these videos that I make, is to help you cultivate your understanding of music and appreciation for music. And if I am doing that, like through these videos that I made today, I would very much appreciate it. If you like the video, drop a comment down below. Even if it's just a smiley face, it helps with the algorithms. That way more people can see videos like this. And if you guys are getting so much enjoyment out of these videos and getting more respect for the music that is being featured here, I would appreciate it if you would visit the link in my description to my Patreon page, where if you choose to support me financially and contribute to the success of this channel, you will get a lot of benefits to this or on the side for that as well, such as handwritten letters from me for the more dedicated patrons, early access to these videos, and even more. Make sure you hit the link if you're interested in that. It's not required to enjoy the videos by any means, and it's there if you want it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching today. This video was made possible by patrons like Miss Nancy Flesher. If you are interested in getting shoutouts like this at the end of my videos, make sure you hit the link in my description to go to Patreon, where you have the ability to do so. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I love you. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.